Like exclusivity is a distinct feature of what you've done corporately. Is that correct? Is that a
Yeah, yeah,
correct
absolutely.
assumption?
Yeah, yeah.
It almost goes against the trend in aesthetics. A lot of companies tend to flood the market. You see companies that are now in drugstores. In Canada, it's Shoppers Drug Mart. In the States, it's Walmart. It's Sephora. As many clinics as possible. That seems to be a distinct strategy for a lot of companies, and you've almost done the opposite, which is maintain exclusivity. And it almost wonder if it's is that going to be to your detriment not having that exposure, or is the value of keeping that exclusivity as part of your brand more important?
It's part of our DNA. I mean, it's a family business, so we are not listed. We don't have any financial pressure of any kind. And we are more obsessed with building a legend than building big numbers. Okay. The other thing is we are a people business. We don't want to go into pure retail. We want to stay a professional brand. And when you want to stay a professional brand, you work with people first. You work with therapists. You have to train them. You have to know them. So by essence, and we select them. Okay, we don't want to. If they are not good, we are looking for therapies that have, as we say, a brain and hands, and we want good people, the best people. So it takes time. There are not so many around. So by essence, our network is going to be very controlled, and we will never be everywhere because this is not our DNA. This is not the way we do business. And yes, you are right. We could be much bigger, but we prefer reputation over size. What probably makes us both different and probably I mean our customers loyal is the customer experience. And as long as and we are very lucky, because there are not many businesses or brands where the customer will stay over an hour in a customer experience. It's amazing. I mean, when you think about it, and this is where we are lucky, and we want to keep that, and we want to stay with that, and that's the customer experience. Is yes, you are right. It's probably the most important part of what we are doing.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was thinking about this, and even in talking to you, a theme that comes across consistently is that you tend to go against the trends that a lot of other companies are going towards. And I don't know if that's just your personality or the personality of the company, but you're not necessarily swayed by the usual market forces that a lot of companies tend to be focused on.
No, no, it's true. I mean, that was already the case for the founder. I mean, he didn't want any perfume because he thought it was completely useless for the quality of the skin. And so our products are smelling what they smell, which is the active ingredient. So sometimes it's a little bit bizarre. Our product names, most of them you don't remember them because they are so like complicated or whatever. Um, and we do very little market research. Okay, we do a lot of research on skin, a lot of research on ingredients, but we are not obsessed with trends. We are obsessed with the skin. We listen a lot to our own customers because we know them. We meet with them a lot, and this is probably how we stay a little bit different.
Yeah, that's right. Um, and I mean, maybe talk a little bit about branding as well, Pierre Louis. Um,
Yes.
I think branding has been a kind of a topic that anybody in business tends to think a lot about, and we tend to read a lot about it. It's gotten a lot of press, and it seems to be the one of the major focuses for any company as it develops is focusing on its branding. It almost, I sometimes jokingly when I read about it, say it's like a drinking word. How many times you hear people talk about a brand and branding and brand, but for you guys, it's a little bit different. It's not an external thing. It seems like this is part of your corporate DNA.
Yeah, but I mean, branding is a fascinating topic. You can talk about it for hours, but a brand is very. I mean, branding was invented by Lord Lever. I mean, not only him, but at a time where everybody was selling soaps, they wanted to stamp, to stamp a brand on the soaps to tell people this soap is not a soap, it's a liver soap, so it's a different quality, etc. So branding is just a signal that something is different. Now, what makes a brand long-term successful is what are the proof that you are different, okay? And this is what you have to work on. And it's just the good work that you do every day in quality, in innovation, in customer relationship, in trust, of course, that makes your brand one day more different, more successful than another one. So everything is branded now. What is the big difference is what you put behind your brands, and more importantly, what is kind of short-term fashion of the day, of the week, of the month, of the year, and what are the deep roots of the brand, and how you make those roots visible, attractive, interesting for the customers. And again, Hermès is a great brand because they have roots and they are capable of projecting themselves in the future. And that's the challenge. And you have a lot of brands now which are very successful. All the digital native brands, they start from zero, they become absolutely huge. Now, how long will that last? That's the question. So, definition of success is really fame and long term. If the success is short term, then you tend to forget about it. If the success has been there for a long time and will be there for a long time, then you can start talking about history.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because branding is almost its own entity, and as you say, the branding should be reflective of your company's values, but
that's very important.
It seems like it's developed to the point where people's brand is a unique focus that they have separate from what their company stands for, and a lot of companies, I think, have a little bit of a shallow brand. They don't really. The brand isn't really reflective of what they're doing, but seems to be an entity that they're putting forward as to what they want people to perceive them to be.
Yeah, no, that's true, but the digital explosion has favored that. To be honest, the short-term exposure, the fact that everybody is talking about everything all the time. So that's the challenge, and that's fine. That's great, but and this is where long-term values, at one stage, this is my personal perception and belief, will matter more than just a short-term noise, because there are so much noise everywhere about everything that at one stage you need to have a vision. Okay, and if you don't have a vision and values, then you will move fast, but you might not run a long time.
Well, I mean, can you expand on that? Because by digital, you mean social media, right?
Yeah, social media, sorry.
So social media has really exploded the aesthetics world. It's really exploded on the scene and really carried the aesthetics world forward. Do you think that the social media trends are going to change the aesthetics world in an ongoing basis, or do you think that these are trends that will kind of go by and something else will come up?
No. I'm just saying that. I mean, social media will stay forever, so that's for sure, and will continue to expand and develop. What I'm saying is that when you think about branding, social media are becoming extremely important, but you have to use them based on your values, just not based on the simple exposure of whatever can be exposed. Okay. And in our case, we use them a lot for training, for teaching, for coaching. But it's true that you really need to have a direction. You need to have a focus and a direction. Otherwise, you just get lost. And even customers, they get lost. They switch from one to another, recommendation, influencer, etc. It can be with confinement and COVID, of course, we launched a new program which is called Skin Mentor Tips. And basically what we try to do is to teach about the skin, and we almost don't even talk about our product. So that was created for our community of customers, okay? And it's made by our head therapist, by our trainers, some doctors, okay? So the concept is just having small lectures or small teaching or coaching on topics like it can be exfoliation, it can be pollution, it can be what should you do with your skin during COVID. So any topic that are related to the skin condition, skin instance. But we don't always talk specifically about our products. The purpose is just to share the knowledge, and it's not advertising, it's not selling. We don't sell the products afterwards at all. We just share our knowledge.